I'm Rachel Tessman from Stamp Your Art Out, and today in my video I'm going to share with you my new crafting studio. I originally set myself a timeline of a month because during the month of December I do not hold any classes or events in my home. People are busy getting ready for the holidays, and so because of that I could take all of the things out of my now old office area and craft room, set it into the classroom area that I teach in, and use that space as kind of a storage area. But classes then began early January, and so even though this room wasn't completely done by that time, I was still able to move in most of my stuff. I used the help of IKEA Kitchen Planner on the IKEA.com site. I had drawn up things on grid paper, kind of analyzed everything that I had in my room and where I wanted it to fit. Even though I had done most of the planning myself, my dad was truly the genius. He's a guy that can do it all, and I'm blessed to have a father like that. So my mom and my dad basically lived with us during the month of December, and boy, I felt the love because they just helped me to change a room that was not inspiring to one that just lifts my spirits. And thankfully, my husband and my boys were in support of this whole process as well, because around the holidays, having a room remodel like this can really get in the way. And my husband also pitched in. He had a couple days that he took off of work and used his muscles and helped us to put the cabinets in and things like that. He was a godsend as well. So I thank all the people that helped me with this room. Now, this is my business. This is not just a room for playing in. I actually do this for my job. I have my own business. I own my own business, and I teach people how to do rubber stamping, paper crafting, memory keeping. I hold classes in my home, and so I had to have an office side of my room and I had to have my creative side of my room. And these areas are of course even separate from the classroom area, but when people come to my classes, they actually walk through this area and they see it. And before, it was always cluttered. I want to use the word vomit. I had bags that didn't have places to be, so they were thrown up under my tables. It was just, everything was everywhere, and it just was not a creative, inspiring place. And now, again, like I said at the beginning, this is my dream room come true. Let me share it with you. So I think I will introduce you to the office side of my room first, and show you all the fun things that are inside every drawer and cupboard. So let's start with this cupboard. This is my dream cupboard for storage because it holds everything that's huge. At the top I have things that I don't need to use because they're way up there. Old retired products from Stampin' Up! Cards that I've received from people because I hang on to all of them. On this shelf I have my Cricut stuff because I am a big Cricut fan, and when I go on retreats I like to take my machine with me and all my cartridges. This shelf is all just for mailing. So I've got all my mailing supplies there, and oh yes, this is exciting for me because I used to have to go down on my knees way back in a corner of the room to grab orders for people that were ready, and now they're right there ready to go. On the bottom, I have my tablecloths, my posters, and things that I bring with me when I do vendor fairs, and on the very bottom are all my scrapbooking projects and albums that need to get done. And now as we go along the bottom here, this is another one of my favorite spots because it pulls all the way open, and I have in there every single box, bin, container, bag that used to be, like I said earlier, they were thrown up on my floor. I didn't have a place to put them, and now they all fit into that corner. Over here we have office supplies. Like on the top drawer I have things that are small and tiny, and I don't know, the little knick-knacky kinds of things that you need. This is my go-to drawer for tape and scissors and staples. And then I have on this one more mailing supplies, my mailing labels and my postage, things that I need for my printer. And on the very bottom I fashioned one of these file folder holders that you could get at the office store, and you just stick that in a drawer because IKEA, which is what all this furniture or this cupboard stuff is from, they do not have a drawer that is like a file drawer. So you have to just buy an insert for it, but it works out really handy to keep all of my financial stuff in that drawer. Then of course we have my workspace. So over here I have my computer printer, and I like that it's off in the corner so that people don't have to see this big machine sticking out there. And then I have my lovely workspace. I have my comfy chair, and also from IKEA. Everything is pretty much from IKEA except a few things I'm going to show you as I point them out. But my wonderful Imac Computer, which has a green background so that when I'm working I can still be inspired by my favorite color. But I've got my go-to things that I need right on top. My Kleenex, my pencils, those are things I need daily. I've got, you know, my calendar and just little fun knick-knacky decoration things. Underneath, I have to show you this because I'm very excited. My dad, we had some extra counter pieces, some countertop pieces, and so he made this handy dandy little shelf and stuck it up there so that we could put all of these fixtures and cords, things that I normally was kicking around and it was in the way. So that's really nice that that's up and out of the way. I got my wastebasket, my shredder, and then on this side I have my pens and pencils and colors, and oh, it's just so fun to look at that drawer. I'm a color fan. And my post-it notes and writing utensils, writing pad. And then in this drawer I have all my colored paper because, you know, for classes I like to make my signs all pretty. And in the very bottom I have even more files, my labels that I print on, I don't know, patterns and charts and things like that. Now this drawer is a drawer that I didn't know what I was going to put in this drawer when I was getting to the final stages of planning what was going to go where. And I said to myself, well, we'll just figure out what goes there when it's time. And I ended up putting things in here that sit on my desk. So when I want to have my desk clean, I can just store it all away. Yes, I'm one of those neat freak people. So that's stuff that I'm working on. And then in here, another drawer that people don't tend to probably create for their rooms, but this is my quote-unquote media drawer. So I have my lamps and my camera, things that I'm going to be using when I either do my YouTube videos or taking pictures for my blog. And then in the very bottom drawer, another just basically supplies that I need for my hanging files, file folders, my papers, binders. And now I'll share with you what I've got in my top cupboards. This is where I store all my past Stampin' Up! Catalogs so I can refer to them because I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. In here I have non-Stampin' Up! Items, things to make my 3D projects with. I've got fun little containers and cups and lids and pens and notebooks, and up there I've got tools like my sticker maker and I don't know, those little small tools, label makers. In here it might seem like I don't have a lot, but up top I've got all my computer program, DVDs, CDs, things that I need for my computer. Here I have more training DVDs, VHSs from way back, things that I use that are, you know, computer related. And then on this shelf, it looks kind of bare, but what I use it for is I grab my lamps that are in my drawer down here, and daytime or nighttime I can just take and photograph all of my projects that I'm going to put on my blog. So it's a great photographing area, and I love that my dad put outlets wherever I wanted in my craft room, so they're convenient. Then above my computer I needed kind of a focal point of the room because this is what you see when you first walk in. I have all of my past Stampin' Up! Demonstrator manuals, going all the way back to 2000 when I first became a demonstrator, and then some little decorative pieces. This I got from House of Antique Hardware. Love their stuff. Those little pails I had from a long time ago, so I just went and bought some foliage and stuck that in there. I decorated the front too with some Stampin' Up! Stuff. And then over here we have things for planning my events, parties. I've got my order forms, my folders that I bring to parties with me, pens, extra pens. Oh, Kleenex. I like my Kleenex. You know, my little hostess deals, business cards, things like that are up in this cupboard. On the corner cupboard, I have my organization or my storage things that are a little bit smaller. I've got my card holders and my tinier bins and ribbon holders, those sorts of things. And then in this last cupboard, this is the one I show everybody because, you know, if you get hungry when you're at our house, there you go. This is where I keep all my candy that I bring out to my events. And every once in a while I notice that some of it's missing, and that's okay. And up on top I have manuals from training events that I've attended, and on this shelf here I have tickets and prizes that I accumulate and eventually bring down into my crafting or my Stampin' Studio, which is where I hold all my classes. And right in the middle of the room I have two tables that I use for working at. The tallest one, because they can actually be adjusted. Yay. The tallest one is where I record my YouTube videos for my paper pumpkin projects. And then at the other table, I have basically a spot to store things right now because it was going to be a place where I would create. I had a chair there for a while and took it away because I create in a different spot now. So this might become eventually an area where I can set up my scrapbooking, my personal scrapbooking, so that I can work on it every once in a while. We'll see. Then up above that area, I have some track lighting that is surrounding those tables, so it's nice and bright. And on the wall, I have my fun logo, Stamp Your Art Out, yay! And then I'm going to introduce you to the craft side of my room. And you remember how earlier I was telling you that most of my cabinetry and stuff came from IKEA? Well, this does down here below, but the piece that's up here on the wall is actually something that I got off the Target website, and it's to hold DVD containers. But this bottom part was actually further forward. So my dad sawed it, cut it back, and when we assembled the whole piece, he also put a supporting beam up there, and now we have it on the wall to hold all of my stamp sets, which are also in those kinds of containers, because that's what Stampin' Up! Does, is they put them in DVD-like containers. And also these two pieces here, they were ones that I owned previously. Now I have to tell you, because lots of people are asking about this one especially, I can't find them anywhere anymore, so I'm sorry about that, but this corner unit in this piece I got at Home Depot years and years ago, and they were from a Mills Pride brand of closet cabinetry. But they hold lots of fun goodies too, so let's just go ahead and start down here. Let me share with you what I have in these cupboards. So this is where I store all of my card samples, and I have them in order for pages in the catalog, so if I'm looking for a particular stamp set and samples for them, I can just pull out a card with that stamp set in it. And then over here I have things that go along with the Big Shot, because I have my Big Shot on that counter over there. So these are some other things that I use for my Big Shot tool, which is a die cutting and embossing tool. So I have embossing folders, and I have real thin dies and thicker dies. And then in this drawer here, I also have some extra things that I use with my Big Shot tool. Up above that, I have my clear blocks that I use for all our totally clear, or what we call photopolymer stamps, or our clear mount stamps. And then above that, I have my adhesive refills, because I have customers that every once in a while need to get an adhesive refill on at the spur of the moment at a class. And then we'll just go through all these drawers below here. In this drawer I have all of my cutting tools. So I have scissors and piercers and mats. Now they're not all in here, but this is where I typically will store them. I have many of them dispersed in my classroom and on my work table, which is something I'll show you in just a minute. And these are adhesives. And again, I don't have everything in there, but just the things that I need immediately. Down here I would have things like my paintbrushes, or what we call aqua painters, and blender pens, rulers, bone folding tools, positioners, brayers. Down here are my bags and boxes, like cellophane bags and things that we have in our catalog that we can make fun projects with. And then I have tools that were either at one time Stampin' Up! Tools, or they weren't ever, but they're just things that I need. So like needles for threading things. I have my pliers, hammer, my Hermafix adhesive. Oh, I love this. It's called Dotto, and it's great for when I do my scrapbooking. My little spritzer tool, which I can never get rid of. And then I've got a crocodile, fun things in there. Down here are some extra punches, or punches that won't fit in the punch holder that I have. Some more clear envelopes and bags. And down here we have my Stampin' Scrub pads, which I clean my stamps on, my clear block holder when I go traveling with them, spritzers, just fun doodads. On my curved shelving unit, I have extra catalogs and some items like these are projects that I'll be doing for classes coming up soon. These are newer products, either in our spring or celebration catalog, which is going on right now, so I keep those separate from everything else, so I remember that these are things that are newer. And then down on the bottom two shelves, this is a big part of my business. I love paper pumpkins. I have my paper pumpkin ideas here, samples that I've made, my stamps. Love my stamps. I'm already starting on a new binder because my other ones are getting full. So, yay! And this here is another unit from IKEA. It's actually two of them put together. So it goes up this far, see this far, and then there's another one that goes this far. And basically they're cubes. They're cube type furniture, and you can put things inside of them like the drawers that pull in and out, or these little bins here, and then there's drawer attachments you can have. And up here at the top you can even have cupboard attachments. I am so in love with the middle portion of this though, because these little containers here are from a company called Stamp and Storage, and they come in and out, so you can put them wherever you want in your IKEA unit. And this one holds my 12 by 12 papers, but they also make these square units that go into this type of thing from IKEA that hold punches and stamp pad holders, and it's exciting. But this is where I keep all my 12 by 12 papers. Up here in these cupboards, you know, I have extra space that I haven't filled yet. So in this one I have a teddy bear and a Barbie doll that I have Stampin' Up stuff on it. But basically decorations that I've gotten that I don't want to have in my room. These are kits, the Stampin' Up kits that I show every once in a while from the catalog. And then in these two bins here we have 3D projects. They're not completely full, but you can see this is where I store things that are 3D that don't go into my card storage area. And again, lots of things that aren't completely filled yet, but this is where I'm now keeping my envelopes and extra adhesives. I could become a hoarder, really. I mean, I could get more. This is just plastic bags right now. It's really kind of sad. It's pathetic, but that's what I have in this area. And this last area that I want to show you in the room is my most exciting area. I get very inspired in this spot because everything is right at my fingertips. This is where I create. I didn't think it was going to be my creating area. I thought I was going to do it at my table in the middle of the room, but I find that I stand here and I get inspired so easily. So let me share with you the different things that are here. More storage from Stamp and Storage. This company rocks. I've got stamp pad holder here. I've got a little corner unit, and they all work together so nicely. Here is a stamp pad slash marker slash re-inker unit. And I've got my ribbon holder. I've got my lockdown punch holder. So it's all here, right at my fingertips. Up above, I have a corner unit just for decoration, basically. And then in here, I have my scrapbooking stuff, like my Project Life, cards and accessories, and items that I need for my scrapbooking classes, like page protectors. Now, if we come down below the work table, I'm going to point out a couple things. In this little corner here, I have a spot just for my big, huge Carl cutter and my yardstick. I'm very happy that I have a spot for those. And then along the bottom, on all of these 3 drawers, I have my cardstock file holders. So basically, I've got all my Stampin' Up colors sorted by family, and then on this side I have designer papers. This is a wider holder because you can adjust this one to fit the width of these folders. So these are the legal size hanging file folders, and then my 12 by 12 paper fits in them very easily. Let's start here then, we'll move this way. This is where I keep my glitters. I keep my glitters in larger containers like this and not like this anymore, so when I have a class or a demonstration I'm doing, I can just reach for the spoon, grab it. So that's why I needed a bigger drawer for those. And my embossing gun is in there and things that need to stand up, spritzers and stuff. And then above that I have my sponges and my daubers. Everything's in there by color organized because I'm somebody who likes to stay organized. Look at this, a drawer just for these little punch boards. These things were lost in my other room. I kept having to move them around because they were sitting on top of everything else, but now I have a drawer for them. These are accessories that are flatter. They don't fit in my ribbon holder or little tiny cute containers like this that I have in the drawer above. So basically this is my flatter accessories. And then above here I have accessories that are in these little bins here, my washi tapes, my little fun package stuff like my rhinestones, the things that I need right away. I need to replenish those. And then I have another drawer that is a dream come true because, I mean, you need a drawer just for your Stampin' trimmers. So this is where I keep all of my cutting tools for my Stampin' trimmers. And then a drawer just for grid paper. I have to share with you, do you see how these drawers are closing? They are soft closed drawers, and my cupboards are the same way. So if we come back to this side of the room, you can see how you shut it and it doesn't slam. So that's heavenly. And then another feature that I got from the IKEA store is these cute little remotes that you can carry around with you anywhere you go. And you can turn on a light from way across the room. And so this provides my soft lighting, and then the lights that are above on the ceiling are my brighter lights for when I need a brighter workspace. I never had any covering on these windows until just now. We lived here 10 years. And so I have a shade. It was a custom-made shade that reaches this huge wide window. And if I need to adjust the lighting in my room because of videotaping, I can even pull down the top. Before we did the remodel, this shelf was annoying. I hated it. It needs to be here because this room is in a half basement level. So the part of the room that's below the shelf is in the ground, and the part that's above is above ground. So they need this little beam all the way across. So in the old room, like I was saying, it was a big bother. It was wasted space. I didn't even use it. I had furniture in front of it, and it just kind of made everything a foot shorter all the way around. But in my new space, as you can see, my Stampin' storage units fit very nicely on top of it. And as we span around the room, you can see it also will make for a lovely little area for when I put little displays or designs or decorative things there. But I literally had organizational cabinetry and stuff that was away from the wall there, and I used to hide things back there, mailing supplies and everything. So I brought you around to this side of the room one more time just because I forgot to share with you two things. One of them is I do have a second remote on this side, yay, so I can work in soft light in the middle of the night at my computer. And then this feature right here, on my open shelving area here, I have an extra shelf, a skinny little spot just for my printer paper that I put in my printer. So now you can see why I love my new space. I've got my creative side, I've got my business side of the room, everything's where I need it, when I need it. It's my dream room come true. I do want to mention on these Stampin' storage units that I was showing you before, the white ones and the black ones, they do not come that way. They come bare wood, but they're beautiful that way. You don't have to paint these. I wanted to because I wanted them to match my room a little bit more. But just note that you don't want to have the person painting them use a latex-based paint because the wood will absorb all that moisture and swell a little bit. We sent ours away to get painted by somebody, and when they came back there were lots of issues. So my mom and dad, again, they were a godsend during this whole thing. My dad sanded a few areas, my mom sanded a few areas, and then she sat and painted for hours and hours while we were gone at a Christmas gathering. When I came back, she was still working on these. I thought I was going to have to trash them and get new ones, but she saved them, and they're just as beautiful as they were when I first bought them, but now they're white and black. So just note that you don't want to use latex-based paint. I've heard that spray paint is better. We did not use that, so I really don't know what to tell you on that, but we couldn't spray paint in the middle of winter because we don't have a room in the house where we could do that, and it was too cold in our garage. So I hope that this video helped to inspire your creative area, and you got some great ideas for what you can do in your own space. Again, I want to thank my dad and my mother for helping out and doing all that they did, and for coming and living with us to help me build this room, and to my husband who chipped in whenever he had a spare moment, my kids for putting up with us. It was just a wonderful experience, and I would do it over again in a heartbeat. I love my new space. Thanks for watching. And then, so you zoomed in? Did you zoom in on it? It'll work, right? We can crop it. And I was like, woo! Did you say woo? Did you say that? I was like, woo! I love it. I didn't hear you. What did you say? Was it during the recording?
Well, it was like as you started going, because I was like trying to back up.
Oh,
like,
I was going to crop that out anyways, because were you zooming in?
I did.
Okay. All right. I'll just crop it out after we zoomed in.
Okay.
Because I didn't hear you say it.
And then I thought I stopped recording. Oh, it's still recording.
Ah!